And welcome to another edition of the Batchelor News Report on the Batchelor News Network. I'm LA Batchelor. We thank you for joining us. If you're watching on YouTube at LA Batchelor, please subscribe to the video page. If you're on Facebook, of course, just hit the star on our Pad Nation page as well. And you can subscribe and follow us at X on at Pad Nation 2 and LA Batchelor at Instagram. I want to bring in my guest. Always good to have her on. Haven't had her on in a while. Of course, she is a licensed psychologist in Connecticut and Massachusetts. A master's in clinical child psychology. Can you hear me now, Dr. Levy? See here. Can you hear me now, Dr. Levy?
Hello.
Can you hear me? You can't hear me. Let's see here.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can't hear you.
Hang up. Hang up. Hang up.
Check the volume.
We're going to take a break and see if we can get Dr. Levy on the line. Stand by.
Since Buffalo Wild Wings is always open late, here are a few things you'll enjoy. Buzzer beaters, wings in 21 signature sauces and seasonings, and great deals on food and beer. Grab select domestic draft beer starting at $4. $4 shareables like street tacos, fried pickles, chili queso dip, mozzarella sticks, and roasted garlic mushrooms, and deals on select liquor and house cocktails. Phew, that's a mouthful. Catch all of the late night action. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports. Offers and participation vary.
HBCU Pro Sports Media Association, providing accurate and comprehensive coverage of historically black colleges and university sports, news, features, commentary, analysis, and multimedia content from the leading voices in black media. We are committed to telling the stories of HBCU athletes and programs. Visit us at hbcuprosportsmedia.com.
Hey, this is Craig Batchelor Jr.
And this is Kevin Batchelor.
And this is Smooth Tay.
And you're listening to
the Batchelor News Radio Show
on the Batchelor News Radio Network.
Times have changed. The power to create your own influence through your own network is now in your own hands. As a creative, marketing is essential, and you're limited to the number of marketing vehicles you have access to by the amount of money you have in your budget. We can help get you exposure all over the US, Africa, UK, for as little as $35 a month on our Roku and Amazon Fire Stick network. Big Mind Entertainment, we're the vehicle for creators of today and tomorrow.
Voters 50 and over have the power to decide elections. They vote in big numbers, and they want candidates who will fight for their families and their financial security. They told AARP that protecting Social Security and supporting family caregivers are among their top priorities. So candidates who want to win need to start talking about the issues they care about. Learn more from our latest polling in Montana at aarp.org/mtpolling. That's aarp.org/mtpolling. Paid for by AARP.
Hope for the Warriors is dedicated to supporting the military and their families. In 2023 alone, over 29,000 post-9/11 veterans, service members, military spouses, caregivers, and their families were impacted by the incredible work of Hope for the Warriors. Hope for the Warriors provides successful programs in all aspects of well-being. Join this life-changing mission. Support Home for the Warriors today by donating and help make a difference in the lives of those who have served our country with bravery and honor.
Educating people about cancer clinical trials can be tough, and it's especially difficult to convince members of some minority populations about the benefits after years of mistrust about such studies. But the National Cancer Institute's Cancer Information Service, which reaches the public through a network of partners nationwide, has made headway. Recently, CIS members met near Washington, D.C. As Washington-based Assistant Partnership Program Manager, Cherie Spencer explains, the service has helped educate local African American ministers about the positive aspects of clinical trials.
When it comes to underserved populations, many communities are likely to trust information from others who look like them and sound like them. Our message is that greater minority participation in cancer clinical trials can help reduce or eliminate disparities.
The CIS also reaches out to cancer centers, state health planners, and medical and nursing staff with clinical trials information. As Arkansas Partnership Coordinator Misty Smith adds, the service has found success in focusing on training medical staff.
Our Train the Trainer educational programs have been very successful. Indeed, more than 60% of the people who are participating in our programs are doctors and nurses. These are the people who are in direct contact with our underserved populations every day, and they need to know how to discuss this with their patients.
And Pacific Region Partnership Program Coordinator Kevin Castle adds that CIS partners have worked to include clinical trials education in health profession curricula.
We've reached out to over 1,400 medical and nursing students. We've even reached out to insurers. We have to educate across the healthcare spectrum that interfaces with medically underserved populations. It's all part of the same puzzle.
To learn more about the Cancer Information Service and clinical trials, visit cancer.gov or call 1-800-4-CANCER.
Recovery Month has become widely recognized and does an outstanding job of celebrating recovery, increasing awareness, and acknowledging the amazing work of providers, advocates, people in recovery, and their families. I believe our work together is helping many Americans better understand, seek out, attain, and sustain recovery. What began as a small and very good idea has grown into a national, mainstream, sustained, and systematic public education and support effort, all focused on the message that people recover. Getting the message of recovery right is critical because people take action based on what they hear and see, and most importantly, what they experience. Experience shapes our knowledge, our values, our attitudes, our beliefs, and our action. Of those who recognized their need for treatment but didn't receive care, the number one reason was no health coverage and could not afford the cost. No one in need should be denied the opportunity for treatment and recovery in our country.
Hello? I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
That's all right. It was a glitch on the mic, on your mic on that side, but that's okay. Glad to have you on, of course. Dr. Barbara Levy, she's a licensed psychologist in Connecticut, Massachusetts, practicing with a master's in clinical child psychology and a PSYD in professional psychology. Boy, you got all the letters, all the alphabets, Doctor. Good to see you. Happy New Year. We haven't talked since last year.
Right.
And Doc, I wanted to have you on because last year we were in the hopes that, okay, it wasn't Joe Biden, then it was Vice President Harris, that one of the two was going to slay the dragon and keep the orange man out of the White House. To my chagrin and sadness to a lot of people, and shock to a lot of people, this man won a second term. And I wanted to bring you on because one of the things we went through in his first term, on top of the fact that COVID hit during his term and he handled it horribly, that we had fear and anxiety then. Now we get a second term with this guy. He's looking to, when you look at all the things he's trying to get rid of, in this term, he's looking to slash a lot of DEI programs. He's marginalized even more the disabled, taking things away from them in terms of curbside and access to restaurants and different things. He's going after transgender people. He's going after minorities. He's taking away funds for small minority businesses, women businesses. He's doing all these things, and it's a lot of, and not to mention deportation and calling out our neighbors and our allies. There's a lot of anxiety and fear from the plans he's already started and will conduct in these four years. So, in the first thing, what would you say to someone if they feel like certainly fear is real, anxiety is certainly real, but how do they know that they've graduated to depression?
Oh, I would say that almost anyone at this point who was opposed to him before is impacted and feeling some depression and a great deal of anxiety. I think that people have been trying to ignore it, trying to listen less to the news, trying to minimize the impact of what's going on. And to some degree, that's healthy. On the other side, I think everyone has to find something to do and figure out what they can do. And I don't think anyone has the magic solution. I think that we're in very uncharted waters. I think that the legal system is challenged to the nth degree, and they are trying. I think that if people join together that care, we are at least half of the population, probably more. I think that even those who supported him are going to have to see the light at some point. And
well, we thought that the first time around.
But it's way more marked at this point. And again, I think it's going to take a concerted effort by those who care to help them see it, but it's going to touch people close to them, right and left, whether they work for the government in any way, shape, or form, whether they rely on government programs in any way, shape, or form, including Social Security and other things. I think it's going to hit the broader population when they wake up and realize the freedoms that they're losing and if you live in a red state, call your Congress people. If you live in a blue state, let them know that you support what they're doing and do whatever you can. But those people who are in a red or a mixed state should be calling the Congress people and saying, what the heck is going on? Why are you taking this away? Why are you looking at my Social Security number? Why are you looking at my private data? And the complaints to even to the Speaker of the House. I saw a post where someone said, contact the Speaker of the House and say, why is this happening? And the more people, because I can contact them from a blue state. He represents me as the Speaker of the House, whether or not I'm a Democrat or a Republican. What they're doing and what the administration is doing, they have to listen to our comments. So do whatever you can, even if it's just a phone call, even if it's an email. We are all going to feel somewhat anxious, worried, unsure of what the future may hold. And even I think women are going to be impacted, and DEI is impacting educational programs. They're doing it in many foolhardy ways, and they're making mistakes and calling them on it and calling, whoever you can to say, wait a minute, the firing of nuclear, people that keep our nuclear devices safe is absurd. And there are, even among Republican Congress people and senators, people that are recognizing it. The aid to foreign aid is impacting farmers. It's going to hit people that supported him. And when they realize what he's doing, I hope it will make a difference. I can't guarantee it. And all I can say is that we have to remember that he did not win with a huge majority, no matter what he says. That he can't make up a huge majority. He had a slim win at best. And therefore there's still a lot of people who and independents who may have voted for him because they were unhappy with what the Democrats were saying, whatever it is, also are not as easily, fooled. And I've had clients that were independents and said, I thought there needed to be a change, and they're not happy with things that are happening. So
Well,
and if we can make it, there's two things to give hope. One is that there are 3 seats in the House of Representatives that are up for grabs, and they're being vacated by Republicans. If those get turned over, the House might turn. So put money there. If you have any money or resources, put your resources there.
DCCC, yeah.
So those are the things we can do, and that, and the next election in 2 years, which is not that far off, is the other place where we can put energy.
Well, I'm gonna come back to that. I wanted to bring up and our home state of Connecticut. We did our part. He didn't win there by any means, but some stats I just found out about: 53% of the people. Well, he has a 53% approval rating, which is sky high for him. He never gets over 47 or whatever. He's at 53 now. 70% of the country believes that the country's in the right direction, and they believe him putting him in the right direction. And 45% of people think that Democrats need to go center right rather center left. 45%. Your thoughts?
Again, politics is not my specialty, but right. I do think that Democrats may need to go towards the center. And I also question that whether that 50% is accurate or how long it'll last. I think that as the impact and as the price of eggs and other things keep going up, that percentage will make a difference. I don't know. I mean, again, psychologically, this is a very, very tough time for all of us. And recognize it, take it in small doses, do what you can. Even if everyone does something, it will make a difference. And so that's all we can do. It's sort of like when you're singing in a choir and you have a long note, you sometimes have to take a breath, but other people will keep singing. So that's what's happening. And I think the energy is coming back to various organizations that are beginning to organize the marches. They also have to be very cautious because they will jump on the chance to try military, martial law if they can. So they have to be peaceful demonstrations, and they have to be as careful as possible.
Just understand, make the audience understand what you just said. They have to be careful because he may implement martial law in this country. Martial law. I mean, we haven't seen anything like that really heavy since the 60s.
Well, he would love to. He would love to have the excuse to, and he may make it up or do something to make that happen. Whether or not the military will support him is what we have to hope, that they won't do things like start shooting on peaceful demonstrators. And I hope it doesn't get to that. But I think people are scared, and there's a reason to be scared. And the kind of firing to get back at people doesn't make sense. And that's what he's doing. And the courts will respond. Whether or not they can respond fast enough is what worries me.
Well, I'm concerned about the courts in general, period, because not only he has a lot of his conservative cronies at the lower and highest levels, but he can add on. You know, if Uncle Thomas leaves, he can put somebody else in there for the rest of their life.
With what happened in New York, that was one of his implants who said, "No, I can't support this," and resigned. And there were 6 or 7 people who resigned because of that case. And I don't know I didn't hear today whether or not the judge ruled, but it's not over, and we have to remember it's not over until it's over. And
let me ask you this. We're talking with Dr. Barbara Levy, of course, licensed psychologist from my good state of home state of Connecticut, on the Batchelor News Report. Doc, what about most people are already in sort of a grind and a dog-eat-dog world, so they're already going to have some stress, right? And those are sort of your normal clients that they're just kind of going through. But you have situations, you mentioned cutting back the Department of Education, funding for businesses, nonprofits, cutting back on mental availability in a lot of places, looking to cut down hospitals in rural areas, all of these things. He's forcing people who want to take an early leave in the government to stay, and ones who want to stay, he's forcing out. So my point is that if we're already dealing with the day-to-day stress things with the kids and the job and everything else, and now you add all this on, what do? My colleagues and I talked about, after the election, I haven't watched a full newscast since the election. I know people who haven't been on social media because of the election. They don't want to see anything about it. So how do you kind of counsel and treat those people when they're already going through stuff? It's almost like the COVID situation where they were already stressed, and here comes COVID. Now they double stressed. How do you get them to cope and get back in sort of the mainstream without going crazy?
Okay, I'm going to have to finish quickly, so I'll respond as quickly as I can because I have another meeting that I need to go to. But number one, take care of yourself. Exercise, meet with other people, talk to them about things you're concerned about, do things that are fun, and do volunteer work around what you're worried about. Get involved and make sure you make time for yourself and for your needs. And we all have got to conserve our energy because we don't know what we need to do yet. And as things develop, it will become clearer what things you want to work on, what things you want to donate money if you have some, and any money helps. $20 may help. Making phone calls in the states that have elections that are coming up soon. Doing anything you can as soon as you can, and know that your ability is limited, but there are lots of people working. That's all we can do.
You believe in a boycott?
I think there's certain things that it can't hurt to boycott if you find out. Don't buy from things related to Musk right now. And his cohorts, there's several very significant cohorts. I need to leave. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I had a kind of crazy day with several things that were going on, but I hope that helps. Okay.
Absolutely. Doc, we'll have you on again. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
All right. Dr. Barbara Levy on the show. Of course, she's a licensed psychologist practicing in Connecticut and Massachusetts with a master's in clinical child psychology, and really, explaining to your kids, and dealing with their feelings and telling them, everything's going to be all right. I'm sure she's probably dealing with a lot of parents with kids that are going through those type of things. So I digress, but she's right. Get involved, and make sure that you keep busy, keep your mind occupied, because this is going to be a rough 4 years. Hopefully something will change in the midterm elections, but I'm not banking on that at all. That's it for us. Thanks for joining us. Again, go to our YouTube page at LA Batchelor, sign up to be a subscriber. You can go to Pad Nation on Facebook and become a follower there. Also on Instagram, and of course, as I mentioned, on YouTube. Anywhere you can get the show, you can download it and listen to it in its entirety. Thank you for joining us. We will talk with you very, very soon.